Medical Notebook this week. We're going to look at the situation with COPE, and it's my great pleasure to have with me Mosiuoa Lekota of COPE. Hi. Welcome.
Hi.
So when we last spoke, it seemed to me that you were very optimistic that all the leadership ructions in COPE would be resolved, that there would be a process for going forward, would sort them out, and a lot of stuff seems to have gone wrong since then.
Yes. Well, actually, I wouldn't say a lot of stuff. The singular thing that's gone wrong is that we had committed to the founding of a political party that would be democratic, that would be transparent in its operations, and so on. And I think that it's now become clear that there are some within our ranks who are not committed to these founding principles. Now, it has had to come to this because it's impossible to found an organization that is not committed to those principles, because it will not have a future. It cannot be it cannot be reliable.
Do you feel that there was a deliberate effort, I mean, I think you have said as much, to basically remove from the possibility of voting people who would have supported yourself?
Well, quite definitely there was a very conscious effort to try and exclude significant numbers of branches, and I would say 5 provinces in all, which indicated that they were not ready yet to go to conference. And I think there was a conscious effort to exclude them. In the provinces, even in the provinces that were ready to go, a number of regions and branches which were perceived not to support a particular line, where ways were found to exclude them by processes either of not participating in the launching of their branches, or in compelling a situation that they failed the audit to come through. And that of course, defeated the entire process of democracy.
But wouldn't Mbhazima Shilowa say that you were staring defeat in the face and you decided to find a way to avoid the elective conference?
Well, what is important to remember is that the conference was not about leadership per se. The conference was about policy, it was about constitution, and it was about democracy as well. You cannot have a democratic Congress if you leave the majority of the people and the branches outside of that. I don't know how you can have democracy in those circumstances. And you cannot have that where 5 provinces actually say you have up to the end of the year to hold Congress. Please give us time to ready ourselves properly. I mean, what kind of democracy is that? You know, why should we hold a Congress 6 months or 7 months before the deadline that was set by the conference? It's not about me, you see.
But would you say, I mean, the relationship is now completely broken down between the two of you. Is there any prospect at all that you could sort this out, or is it now just a matter for the divorce lawyers to come to a final settlement?
Ray, the issue is not about me and Mbhazima Shilowa. The issue is about principle. It is about whether everybody is committed to a democratic, all-inclusive process, transparent in that. It's not about individuals. People always reduce it to that. I think the branches, the provinces that decided that they were not going to go to conference, and that said they were ready, they were not talking about me. They were talking about themselves being ready and themselves being included, themselves feeling that they were given a fair share to make their voices heard in the organization. This issue of individuals is really quite peripheral. It's absolutely peripheral. And in any event, if you want to resolve the issue of leadership and resolve it reliably, you bring all of the people inside. You don't exclude people, and let them make a choice. And perhaps people might even not have chosen between me and him. They might have chosen somebody else.
But it was between the two of you, and they tried to lock you out of your office. I mean, surely that tells you that.
No, they're trying to do that now. They're trying to do that now, which is why, in fact, after this sham meeting they had, which is why we are saying that the courts must set that all of those decisions they took there affecting leadership, they must be set aside so that you call the membership. It must be the membership of the organization properly represented in a Congress that must make the call, not some of the members. As many as is humanly possible should be there. But now you had a minority of people going out there. And even those others that came under false pretenses. They were made to believe that they were going to a policy conference. And we went to persuade them to say they must come, believing that we were going to a policy conference. And then all of a sudden when we got there, those who had been plotting to hijack the organization suddenly said, no, now it must change its status. I must say to you that the status and the powers and the program, what the meeting is going to be about, is decided upon by the CNC. You don't call a policy conference and produce an elective conference. You don't call an elective conference and produce a policy conference or a general council. You have to say ahead what it is so that the branches prepare for themselves for the particular thing that they are being invited to come and do.
Wouldn't you say that a lot of the people who supported COPE must now be saying, this is a circus, I actually don't want any part of this?
Well, look, I think there are some of the people who may feel this way. I would say that's a very small portion. I think many people who are genuinely committed to the Congress of the People and who saw a genuine opportunity to create an alternative are grappling with the issue how to solve the problem and then proceed. Because, you know, whichever way you look at it, those who have seen the failings of the ruling party and understand that that there is no longer salvageable, they must think, how can we correct this thing that we are building so that it continues to present us with the opportunity to correct things as we originally had hoped. So what we need, I think, is we must go to conference in September. I mean, we must go to Congress in September. It must be inclusive. As many of us as possible must be satisfied that it will be on the level playing fields. And I think that the outcome will be what the people decide. And all of us must accept that outcome.
Okay, on that note, thank you very much, Mosiuoa Lekota.
My pleasure.
That's all we have time for on this week's Political Notebook. Thank you.
Thanks, Irene.